श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। वासुदेवेन्द्र योगीन्द्रं नत्वा ज्ञानप्रदं गुरुं मुमुक्षूणां हितार्थाय तत्त्वबोधो विधीयते। Is everybody able to chant along?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Anybody who doesn't have the documents or books, let me know at the end of the class. Okay. So did anybody not have a chance to chant in the class? Okay. Prasad, go ahead and unmute yourself. Okay. So we're going to chant the Sukshma Shariram.
Okay.
Kim?
Okay.
Sukshma Shariram Kim?
Sukshma Shariram Kim
Apanchikrita
Apanchikrita
Pancha Mahabhutaih Kritam
Panchamahabhutai Kritam
Satkarmajanyam
Satkarmajanyam
Sukha Dukkhadi
Sukha Dukkhadi
Bhoga Sadhanam
Bhoga Sadhanam
Pancha Jnanendriyani
Pancha Jnanendriyani
Pancha Karmendriyani
Pancha Karmendriyani
Pancha Pranadayaha
Pancha Pranadayaha
Manaschaikam
Manaschaikam
Buddhischaika
Buddhischaika
Evam
Evam
Saptadasha Kalabhis Saha
Saptadasha Kalabhih Saha
Yat Tishtati
Yatishtati
Tat Sukshma Shariram.
Tat Sukshma Shariram.
Okay. You can mute yourself. Okay. So last class we covered Sukshma Shariram. We completed it. So let me briefly translate this sentence. So tat sukshma shariram, that is sukshma shariram. What is sukshma shariram? Yat tishtati, that which is, that which remains, that which appears to us. Saptadasha kalabhis saha yat tishtati, that which is along with these 17 kalas. Kala is a very beautiful word in Sanskrit, which means factors. It can have several meanings. Factors, entities, aspects. So here we can take it as with these 17 entities. So what are those 17 entities? Pancha Jnanendriyani, 5 organs of perception, sense perception. Pancha Karmendriyani, 5 organs of action. We've seen all these things. Pancha Pranadayaha, the 5-fold pranas, vital forces. Prana, Pana, Apana, Vyana, Samana, Udana. Manaha, mind. Buddhihi, another aspect of this, of the same mental different faculty of the same sukshma, called buddhihi, intellect. So along with these 17 factors, now a few more things are given, some adjectives are given to that. He says the sukshma shariram is sukha dukkadi bhoga sadhanam. So he says this is the means of experience, means of gathering experiences, like sukha, dukkha, and any other types of experiences, which essentially means all types of experiences. Okay, then he says satkarma janyam. So we saw this before, that this sthula shariram and sukshma shariram has to be a result of some punya, a special punya. That is the meaning of that. And then he adds before that, apanchikritam pancha mahabhutaih kritam. So we saw that this pancha mahabhuta model is there. And the pancha mahabhutas are initially, they can take the form of subtle elements, and then they can further get grossified into gross elements. So the sthula shariram was grossified, panchikrita, pancha mahabhutam or pancha mahabhutani, and the sukshma shariram is apanchikritam, not grossified. It remains like that. It won't get suddenly grossified during our lifetime. So if it does get grossified, then we will get stuck. We will become a solid piece of matter. So just like energy and matter, matter is gross, energy is subtle. Energy cannot be perceived with our senses, but we can feel that energy. So that is sukshma shariram. And we say that when the sukshma shariram, when the atma identified with the sukshma shariram as oneself, I am alive. When I say, hey, I am alive. Okay, so that means I am associating myself with the sukshma shariram. Correct? See, if I say I am the body, that is not enough to say I am alive. Correct? Because body can be dead also. Body can have no life also. And at that point, they say corpse. They say, suddenly we change our language for a dead person. However close that person was, this is amazing. Oh, the dead body. He is dead. She is dead. and the body is lying there. See, at that time we become very objective. See how objective we become when a person dies. The body is there. We are taking the body. We don't say we are taking him. And because he's gone. And he left the body. A poor man. So we take the body. So we become very objective, it seems there. So when I identify myself with the Sukshma Sharira, and that Atma identified with the Sukshma Sharira is called Jiva. We will come to that later. And the Jiva departs. And at the time of death. This is how it is. This is how it happens. Okay. So we are going to conclude the Sukshma Shariram discussion there. And now the author is going to talk about 5 sense organs. And so that is why we study this book. Look at this. Nothing is taken for granted. So casually he takes the time to explain everything. Okay. So we will chant this statement first. So who wants to do that? Mahesh ji, have you had a chance to chant? Go ahead and unmute yourself. Shrotram Tvak Chakshu Rasana Granam Iti Panchajnanendriyani. Okay, go ahead and mute yourself. So he has enumerated the 5 organs of perception. Yeah, go ahead, Haraprasad.
I thought he said only 3.
Okay, so let me explain. Now let me explain. Go ahead and mute yourself. Okay. So yeah, so he's enumerating the 5 sense organs. Shrotram, organ of hearing. Tvak, organ of touch. Chakshu, organ of sight. And Rasana, organ of taste, which is the tongue. And Granam. Granam is the 5th one, which is the sense of smell. Granam can refer to nostrils, the nose itself, which is the gross sense organ, when we say. And then it also refers to the actual sense that is operating, which is subtle. Okay. So among these 5, one of the sense organs was peculiar, which is the sense of touch. Every sense organ has a location. Eyes are only located in this portion of the body, and that too in these 2 sockets. And likewise the nostrils, likewise the ears. And taste also located in just one part of the body. But the sense of touch is there all over the body. Now, just unique. But then it is because of this sense of touch, which is there all over the body. And I can feel, when I sit down, I can feel myself sitting. When I am cross-legged, my legs are touching each other, I can feel it. And when I tap my lap like this, I can feel it. Everything I can feel. And this is why I identify with the body. My identification with the body comes because of the sense of touch. So I can just feel this body, and so I take myself to be the body. And this sense of touch is important, remember. It is important because if I did not have that sense of touch all over the body, then what do you think will happen? So I don't feel some parts of the body, suppose. then I can come home without my, without my fingers or without my foot, because I didn't feel anything. I don't feel any hurt, nothing. And perhaps, at least the of course, the nerves are there operating on the skin also. They say nerve endings and all are there on the skin. So, but if that feeling is not there, then it's possible to damage oneself. And so that's what seems to happen when the parts become numb. Extreme case of diabetes and all that, they get injured and they don't feel that they are injured, and the wound gets worse, and so on. So sense of touch. Even the sense of taste, the tongue. The primary sense on the tongue is a sense of touch. Given the sense of touch, then the sense of taste can operate. Correct? If you have a question, I ask you can think about doing this experiment. Hot cup of water or tea or coffee or milk, very hot. Just put a mouthful of that hot liquid in your mouth, then you will know what happens. That shows the sense of touch is first operating. It reminds you it's hot, and then you throw up. And the sense of taste is damaged by then, because it takes a few days, who knows, more than a few days, for the taste to slowly come back, because the skin has to heal. So sense of touch is operating there also. Okay. So now, this is the basic introduction. There is nothing more to talk about the senses. But we need to prepare ourselves for the next statement the author is going to make. He is going to talk about Devata. So we are going to spend some time gaining some appreciation of this concept. So in this world, in the scheme of things that we are born in, we did not create anything in this world. We did not even create this body, leave alone anything else here. There seems to be a lot of interdependence. Very simple. I depend on oxygen for my life. I depend on something that is already there. And the plants depend on me. They depend on carbon dioxide, which I seem to exhale. And so there is a wonderful dependence there. Correct? And I walk around outside, there is a cow shed, there is a farm, they have one cow is there and a couple of calves are there. So sometimes I go there and I do namaskar to the cow. I give her some bananas. And you walk to the cow and I see a crow perched on the cow. A crow perched on the cow. And this crow perching on the cow scene, I don't know why, it's everywhere, it seems to be there. And I'm sure many of us have seen it also. And it apparently, there are some things on the skin of the cow, whether it is mites or whether it is some other things that are growing on the skin. The crow is pecking on that, and the cow is very happy. It doesn't protest. Symbiosis. And of course, we have more examples we can give. The flower depends on the bees. We think the flower is independently growing, but hey, it depends on some birds like bees for pollination. Until I studied pollination, I didn't know what pollination was. And the bees also depend on the flower for the honey that they make. Bees don't produce honey from themselves. So there is some symbiosis. I depend on the milk from the cow. Cow depends on me for its livelihood. Like this, lot of dependence are there. They say, sometimes ago I read, if you the ants, which I don't care for apparently. If you remove all ants from this earth, they say the earth will cease to exist in 50 years. This is what they say. I don't know. I need to study this some more. But they say ants have a big role to play in this ecosystem. So, you can see the sand and mud and all that. They do something to make it better for plants to grow, and I suppose the nutrition to manifest, etc. I suppose they say that frogs. See this. There was, when I read one more thing. These labs, they use frogs. We have dissected cockroaches, frogs, and all in our biology lab, and frogs are also being used in other labs. And there was a time when these frogs were being exported from India to other countries. I don't know if it happens now. So there was a large-scale theft of frogs from our ecosystem, from our ponds and things like that. Then they found that the mosquito population mushroomed, because the frogs used to, prey on the mosquito eggs, I suppose, and mosquitoes. So see how connected this world is. So dependent. The whole ecosystem is so fragile. And I can recognize that dependence when I see all these things, when any of us sees all these things. And not to mention this whole solar system, planets revolving around the sun, etc., etc. How delicate that is. But then still, with all this dependence, I am also an independent being. I'm independent. I can eat whenever I want. I can buy fruits if I want to. Today I can go tomorrow. So much choice I have. And of course, I am independent. A lot of decisions I make. And there is so much independence. The people who are dependent on me, when I have my dinner, those people don't have dinner. Even though they are dependent on me, they choose to have their own dinner at any time they want. So independence is very much there. I am just simply not subject to the forces that are there. There is some independence I have also. So we are able to appreciate all this. And so there is the physical world and there is the subtle world. And we have seen that in our body. The physical body we have seen, the subtle body also we have seen, Sthula Shariram and Sukshma Shariram. And all the Sthula that is there in this world, all the gross, if you include all the gross together, the Shastram uses the word Sthula Prapancha. Sthula Prapancha. Some of you may have heard the word Prapancha. Prapancha refers to what? Refers to, let me unmute some of you. Prasad, Deepa and Hem, I'm just randomly unmuting. So Prapancha, I think you've heard of, right? Because it is there in every language. It has to be there in all languages. I think because it comes from Sanskrit. The Pancha comes from this Panchabhutas. So when the Panchabhutas are manifest in multifold ways, manifest completely, prakarshena panchiyate iti prapanchaha. It has manifest in such a diverse manner, it is called prapancha. So the world is called prapancha. Means you can't have a better manifestation of the Panchabhutas. That is the meaning. This universe, prapancha. So they talk about sthula prapancha and they talk about sukshma prapancha. Subtle world and gross world, or gross and subtle. Okay. And there is interaction of force between the two. There is connection between the two. We won't go into all the details of examples of that in the universe, but we have seen some examples. But our interest now is this. So suppose one of you visits Coimbatore, and there is where you spend some time here, and you develop a stomach ache, pain in the stomach, and you have to see a doctor. It has come to a point where you have to see a doctor. Okay, GI doctor, let's say. Now, your GI doctor is in Nashik, or your GI doctor is in the US somewhere, and you are 10,000 miles away from that doctor. Do you say, no, I have to go and see my doctor there? Or are you okay going to any good hospital here and visiting a GI doctor here? Yeah, you're fine. You're going to the same hospital that I have gone to, and you are going to see the same doctor I'm going to see. Why? How come the person who takes care of my stomach can take care of your stomach also? A person can do that because the same functions that are operating in my body are operating in your body also. Ditto functions. And the same functions operating in your body is operating in all bodies of all human beings. Correct? So that law is operating everywhere. And that is why the doctor can confidently keep on looking at patient after patient. There are patients waiting there, and you sit and you wonder, oh my God, my number is 32. And what is your number, sir? Oh, your number is only 15. Then, oh my God, 15 more people. And I can easily see, it takes 10 minutes for a person. I can do a simple calculation. I'm going to sit here for 3 hours. Very clear. So the same doctor is looking at so many people having similar problems. That much confidence the doctor has. Look at that. That means what? The same laws are operating everywhere. And the job of a doctor is to listen to you, look at the symptoms, maybe do some tests and find out what exactly the problem is. Is it a simple indigestion problem, or is it some other ulcer problem, etc., etc. So that much the science has evolved. In fact, the science of gastroenterology means, how can that you call it a science? Because there is so much commonality. If you study this subject, then you are essentially studying the entire gastrointestinal process of the entire humanity. So the doctor can say, I am the doctor of 7 billion people. Can he say or not? She can say that. This can be extended even further. When they invent medicines, the pharmaceutical companies, what do? They come up with a chemical, they come up with a particular structure, compound, and then they want to test it. They test it on a rat. Then it's successful. That particular antibiotic is working because they introduced the bacteria and they introduced the antibiotic, and very soon the bacteria disappeared. They replicated it on the rat, the white rat, black rat, everything, and it works. Now they want to test it on what? They want to test it on a monkey. Because their goal is not to treat rats. Their goal is not to treat monkeys. But they want to try it on a monkey. So more experiments done in the lab. And they test it on the monkey. And successful. Now they are celebrating. Why they are celebrating? They are pretty sure this has to work in a human being. Look at what opinion doctors have of us. No different from monkeys. This is what they say. So this function, this collective function, I'm introducing a word collective now. This collective gastrointestinal function is now extended to animals also. The monkey's gastrointestinal system also, even though different, can be used as a reasonable approximation of this system. So in certain cases, I can study the GI of the monkey before I experiment with the GI of the human being. So you can see now this jnanam, this knowledge of the gastrointestinal system is there wherever these beings are there. And that GI is called the GI collective. I'm going to use the word collective. GI collective means what? GI collective means wherever there is a gastrointestinal system existing and operating, that is called GI collective, which can be there, which can be there anywhere. Likewise, ophthalmic collective, if I can use the word collective, ophthalmic collective, and so on and so forth. For every system that is operating in the human body, there is that collective. There is the cerebral collective. There is the pituitary collective. There is the neurological collective. The reason we can appreciate this collective is because there is a gastrointestinal order. Order. I'm introducing now a word called order. There is an order because of which science is possible. To even say something called gastroenterology or ophthalmology or audiology or pediatry, whatever, there must be an order. Because that order is there, the human being can discover that order and can say, this is the law that is operating. These are the laws that are operating. When this happens, then these are the symptoms. When there is acidity in the body, then these are the symptoms. The person will have burping, the person will have burning in the stomach, the person will have all these things. And if that is a symptom, then these are the treatments that can be given. Because that order is there, such cause-effect relationships can be discovered. And if you look at perhaps there must be something called an encyclopedia of gastroenterology, which all these GI students will pick up because that person is interested in becoming a GI doctor. And it is probably a thick book. I've not seen it, but I'm just imagining, because once I used the Encyclopedia of Chemical Engineering, and such a thick book. And that book, what do you think it has? It has everything we know under the subject of gastroenterology. Correct? Everything we know. Now, this animal testing is an amazing thing. There was a time when I studied a lot on this animal testing, because I was shocked. I never heard about animal testing, and suddenly I heard about it and I was a bit concerned. And I wanted to know what all we do. And what I learned was just very, very disturbing to the mind. So I will share some examples, because just in case we don't know, I think it's worth knowing. So the detergent manufacturing company, they make detergent. So they do some testing on animals. What they do is, They have rabbits in the lab. They open the eye of the rabbit, they put some detergent in the eye and do the same thing on the other eye. And just you can imagine what kind of pain is being caused to the rabbit. The rabbit struggles, suffers, and after some time, blood is oozing out of the eyes of the rabbit because now the damage is caused to the eyes. And I'm sure somebody is taking some data. How long does it take for the rabbit to do this? How long does it take for tears to flow? How long does it take for the blood to flow? How much blood is flowing? After how long? God knows what all measurements are being taken. And this is the experiment they do. And the cigarette company is doing experiments also. What they do is they tie up all these dogs. They tie up dogs in a country which is supposed to be dog friendly. And they insert tubes into the nostrils of the dog, inject smoke, and then they study what happens to the dog. So very sad. It's really very sad, and we need to really look into all this. And because all these things are happening, I think we should be a little more sensitive and find out more about what's happening. That's why all this organic and alternatives and animal free, they talk about animal testing free, right? I'm sure some of you have seen that and purchased those products. I think those are very important because even when you buy a bottle of honey, there is so much himsa. You think, after all, what himsa is there in honey? But there is himsa there. So this competition has done too many things to this human mind. So the point here is, these laws are all operating everywhere. That is why animal testing is possible, because that same collective is available to be studied and to be experimented. So when I study the internal organs of a frog, I can appreciate the digestive system. Then I can study the internal organs of a dog, of a dead dog, not a dog I kill. But if a dog is dead, then I can take it and look at its internals and study. That is okay. That kind of study, I'm okay with that. So this collective gastrointestinal collective example that we gave, that book that is there, that has everything we know about this one particular subject. Then if you ask, what is this gastrointestinal collective? It is not just what is there in this book, but what is all there but is yet to be discovered. Correct? Correct? Mm-hmm. So when we talk of, when our Shastras, our Rishis talked about this collective, they were not worried about what they didn't know, but they knew very well there is so much that we don't know, that the don't know and the know, the known and the unknown you put together, that is called this collective. That is called the functionary. We use another word called functionary. Collection of all functions that we know within that particular aspect of digestive system, if you want to call it, which includes, food intake and the stomach and small intestine and large intestine and things like that. The entire process. Everything we know plus everything we don't know forms the GI collective, forms the GI functionary. Or the GI phenomenon, if I want to use the word phenomenon, to refer to everything within that subject. Collective order, collective set of functions, GI collective, GI phenomenon, GI functionary. And we are going to use a word for that. That word is called Devata. That word we use for whatever occurs to your mind when I say GI, when I say ophthalmology, whatever occurs to you, and expand that occurrence to the whole process, whole existence of those processes anywhere in this universe. That science, that process, that sight, that science of sight, when I personify that, when I say, hey, this is too subtle, there must be Ishvara in this. We appreciate Ishvara everywhere. And in this process, Ishvara is manifest as the sight, as the process of seeing. When Ishvara is manifest as this process of seeing, as the sight, that Ishvara is called Devata. Devata is an aspect of Ishvara, an aspect of the world where Ishvara is manifest through a certain set of laws which I recognize as sight or hearing or digestion or planetary movement, etc. That is called Devata. Okay? Devata. In English, sometimes we use the word presiding deity. Presiding deity. Like as though somebody is sitting and deciding how things should work. Like the Raja decides, tum ye karo, you are the finance minister, you are the this minister, that minister. Your responsibility is this. And you report to me every week what happens. Like that. Not literally like that, of course, but presiding deity, Devata. Therefore, we say every faculty that we can identify can have a Devata, will have a Devata. This is the genius of Vedic Dharma. Devata. Wherever you recognize something amazing, Devata. Something not amazing also, Devata only. Amazing, not amazing. Who are you to say it is not amazing? Who are you to say? See, I got a WhatsApp message recently. I opened it up. And it seems we must visit 3 places. 3 places. One is we must visit a hospital. Only when we go to hospital, we can appreciate health. Oh, thank God, I am healthy. Everybody is sick, waiting for the doctor. I don't need to see the doctor. Thanks for this health, oh God. Okay, I must visit hospital. One more thing, second thing I'm forgetting.
Prison.
Prison. Thank you. So somebody else has seen the same message probably. You must see go to the prison, it seems. When I go to the prison, I can appreciate, my God, this freedom. I'm constantly complaining. Now I can stop and say, my God, I love this freedom. So I must go to prison, it seems. Then one more place I must go to is the cemetery. And there when I go, I can appreciate this life that I have. And I know that this life is going to go away sometime. But until I have it, let me use it properly. So therefore, who am I to say it's amazing, it's not amazing? In America, I tell this to the kids. There is a particular way of talking in America. They say, stupid banana. Stupid banana? This is the first time I heard stupid banana. In India, I never heard stupid banana and all that. And then I asked this boy, hey, what happened? What did this banana do to you? That you call it stupid? I don't like bananas. Oh, so you don't like bananas? Therefore, bananas are stupid? No, it's not. No, they're stupid. So there is so much conditioning we have. Look at that. So I won't mind to say amazing, not amazing. I will say everything is amazing. Everything is Ishvara Srishti. Ishvara is there. Every little thing, even the mosquito, how much ever I hate it, it's also, I suppose it also has a role in the world. So, Devata is what we are talking about. And so here, so let me repeat once again. This collective, when you appreciate a particular function, in my own body, for example, hearing, if I appreciate, then I can talk about the hearing function, the hearing collective. Wherever there is hearing, you put it all together, and that together is called hearing collective, or the hearing functionary, or the hearing phenomenon. Bring in all other beings which have the capacity to hear, like the cow and other animals. And the hearing order, hearing collective, hearing functions or functionary, hearing phenomenon, hearing order, and the presiding deity of this hearing order is the Devata of hearing. This is how we appreciate Ishvara. This is really our first appreciation of Ishvara. Ishvara, that is why we say Ishvara is in front of us, Pratyaksha. It is not Pratyaksha. You can't see Ishvara because Ishvara is everywhere. But I can appreciate Ishvara through all these. Anything that I can appreciate in this world is an appreciation of Ishvara. Correct? Bhagavad Gita. Krishna talks about who he is. I am this, I am that, and so forth. So, Devata. Okay. Now the author, looking at Ishvara from the standpoint of these 5 sense organs, Pancha Jnanendriyani, he is making this next statement. Looking at Ishvara from the standpoint of these Pancha Jnanendriyani, he is going to make this statement. So let us read that. Bhagya, you want to unmute yourself? Yeah, the rest of you go ahead and mute yourself just to minimize the noise. Shrotrasya Digdevata Tvachaha Vayuhu Chakshushaha Suryaha Rasanayaha Varunaha. Yeah, everybody else also can repeat. I just intended for Bhagya to repeat after me, but meant for everybody. Granasya Ashvinau Iti Jnanendriya Devataha. Okay. So yeah, the 3 of you can unmute yourself. So, iti jnanendriya devataha. Thus are these devatas of jnanendriyani. He is enumerating all of them. He is listing the devata of each sense organ. So if you take an example, Vayu, air, we say air. So when we refer to Vayu in our Shastram, there is of course the air that I can, even though not visible to my eyes, I can appreciate air very much. It is a gas and it is there everywhere in this atmosphere, at least to some kilometers it is there. That air, that physical gas air, that alone is not Vayu. We refer to the Devata also as Vayu Devata. How is that? Like when I call you, hey Hem or hey Vikram, when I say, what am I referring to? Am I referring to this 70 kilogram body standing in front of me? Is that this person Vikram? No. The person behind this body, there is a person, a conscious being behind that body. That person, I want his attention, so I'm calling him. And that says yes. He says, yes, Jayakumar, what's up? So, likewise, here Vayu, the sthula that I see, Vayu, the sthulam, the physical air that I can appreciate, that I study in the subject of physics or chemistry. Yes, that is Vayu. And then some more. The Devata, that law that is operating, those set of laws which are known and many of which not known yet, that are operating, that are making this air, that are destroying this air, that are transforming this air, that makes the air dense here close to earth, that makes the air less dense as we go above the earth, and that makes the air rarefied and disappear. Whatever science you can think of, all that Devata, all that science I call as Vayu Devata. So here he says, look at this, here he says, Shrotrasya Dik Devata, the Devata of the organ of hearing, ear, is Dik. We will say more about Dik. Dik is the name of the Devata presiding over the organ of hearing or presiding over the ear. When I say ear, of course, we now appreciate, we are not simply referring to this physical organ here and the eardrum and, not just that. Not just the earlobe. Earlobe, of course, is very useful. For teachers love earlobes of children. We all know that. How many times we have done like this? So, earlobe. But the earlobe primary function, I suppose, is hearing. Some people say it's a vestigial organ. And I don't know. Maybe it has a function. It tries to focus the sounds towards the ear. But that ear, when we say Shrotram, we refer to the entire physical as well as the Sukshma as well as the Devata. Or Sukshma, and he says the Devata of Shrotram is Dik. Devata of the skin is Vayuhu. Devata Chakshushaha. Chakshuhu is eyes. The Devata of Chakshu is Suryaha. So Suryaha, when we mean, we obviously don't mean just this big ball of yellow flame of sun. It means all the processes related to that. And apparently our Shastram is connecting this sun to the eyes. And this is why if you go to an Ayurvedic doctor for your eyesight, he or she will give you some medicines. and will tell you certain practices you should do. Pour cold water 3 times a day, etc. He might say, she might say, and then at the end she will also say, what? She will say, chant Aditya Hridayam once a day. Correct? Yeah. Chant Aditya Hridayam. Because this Aditya is the presiding deity of the eyes, and the doctor is implying, hey, I am not God. I really cannot cure your disease. I can only give you medicines. Even my knowledge is limited. This knowledge is too vast. No doctor, no human being can say, I know everything about eyes. Certain things I can understand. I've been blessed to understand, and I am able to give you some recommendations. And for all those things which I don't know and you don't know, and which need to be taken care of and come to place, come to order, please chant Aditya Hridayam. Correct? And so they will chant Aditya Hridayam. Many people with lot of eye disorders will chant Aditya Hridayam. And Shraddha is there, it will work. So that is the idea here. Chakshusha Suryaha, Rasanayaha Varunaha, Rasana. Rasana, some of you may not know this, young people may or may not know this. I don't know if Rasana drink is there, is there or not, but I have fond memories of helping my mother make Rasana. Why? Those we used to enjoy doing it. My mom will say, come on, let's make Rasana. Go buy Rasana and come. Immediately I will run, and 40 rupees or something it was. I used to get this small little box and open it up, and it has a little liquid, and it has some powder and orange powder and whatnot. And so these fellows, look at how smart they are. Rasana, they called it. It comes from here only. Rasana means they are implying, hey, taste means Rasana. That is the advertisement that is given there. So Rasanayaha Varuna Devata. Varuna is the Lord of waters, all waters. Apaha. Apam Devata Varunaha. Rasanayaha Devata Varunaha. Same Varuna here. Granasya Ashvinau. 2 nostrils. Granasya Ashvinau. Ashvinau is Dvitiya Vibhakti. Dual. Singular, dual, plural. In Sanskrit, we also have dual. So that dual is used. Ashvinaha, Ashvinau, Ashvinaha. So Granasya Ashvinau. Ashvina Devataha, dual. 2 Ashvina Devatas. Iti Jnanendriya Devataha. So we will start with that today. So we started with this Pancha Jnanendriyani, and then studied the important concept of Devata. It is so important for us. It is not some theory. This is why I say this is not theory. This is so important that not only it helps us lead our life, we are now able to focus our prayers on certain Devatas. If I do my prayer to Saraswati or Lakshmi, now I appreciate Devata, therefore my prayers are focused because I now appreciate Lakshmi, I appreciate Saraswati, I appreciate Durga. And so my prayers are even more focused. Number 1, my appreciation of this world is now expanding. And it helps me get closer to my understanding of myself. So this Devata is a very important concept, which we studied today. Okay. Om Swasti Prajabhyah Paripalayantam Jnanena Margena Mahim Mahishaah Go Brahmanebhyah Shubhamastu Nityam Lokas Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu काले वर्षतु पर्जन्यः पृथिवी सस्यशालिनी देशोऽयं क्षोभरहितः ब्राह्मणाः सन्तु निर्भयाः ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतङ्गमय ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरिः ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ